Hi everyone, this is Jim Janossy. I'm your instructor for CSC-200, a course that I call Contemporary Computing. In the course catalog it's listed as Survey of Computing, and that's kind of not a very glamorous title really. I think Contemporary Computing describes the course much better. In this course, what you learn is something of the way information is stored and a little bit about how computers actually work. A little bit about the evolution of computers from the earliest days in the 1940s to the present time, but mostly what you learn about is the science behind the kinds of things we do with computers today. I pretty much take it for granted that you know how to use a word processor. You've probably had to use one quite a bit. You probably know how to use PowerPoint or something similar, but you'll learn a few new things about things you can do with PowerPoint in connection with images and editing images, that is, photo editing. Now, some of you might have already used a tool like Photoshop, which is pretty complicated and expensive. In this course, all the software that you use comes to you free. I've thoroughly checked out a lot of what's called shareware or freeware on the web, and I guide you in downloading the appropriate versions for either PCs or Macs. You wind up installing the software on your own machine and using it, and then describing your experiences, in many cases with a short narrative. We're going to cover sound editing. You'll be getting some software that lets you record sound in digital form on your computer, and you'll understand what's behind that, how it's actually done, and how sound is converted into information that we can store digitally and then turn back into sound when we want to. You'll learn how we can modify the sounds so that you can edit things, chopping out parts of recordings or perhaps altering them in other ways. You'll learn to do the same thing with images, photographic images that you can acquire from the web or that you take yourself with your own camera, and how you can modify those using software that's also free named GIMP. You'll learn how to do video recording if you have the capability to record video. I'm assuming many of you do, either on your computers with a camera built into a laptop or using a cell phone. But to level the playing field, I give you some video, and you then use software that either already exists on your machine or that you install at my direction from sources where it's free, and you modify the video that I supply to turn it into, in one case, an animation, in other cases, into some training materials. My goal in this course is to have you understand the science behind these kinds of things on computers, and also to be able to build up the skill to do them, that is, to do things connected with computers and the web, so that you carry forth a skill that will serve you well in the workplace. In fact, towards the end of the course, when you work on the capstone projects, you'll be doing things with the web and with training materials and with a website that you set up as a career portfolio if you don't already have one, and a way that you learn to manipulate PDFs, that is, portable data format files, to combine them in a way that is very handy on the job when you have to create training materials from a variety of sources. There is no final exam in this course. Instead, there's reflective work that suits very well the content of the course and the requirement for a liberal studies course to have reflective work involved in your coursework. As to the way the course is organized, it's really very simple. There are 4 learning units. Each is about 2 weeks long, although you get to set your schedule of completion yourself. This course is rather flexibly scheduled. In the first 3 of those units, you have reading to do from the workbook and videos and tutorials to watch that are keyed to the workbook pages. All of that's orchestrated on a site that's on D2L. You also then have a little bit of written homework called a unit summary form, and you have some projects where a lot of learning occurs. You have to read all the projects in the workbook, even the ones that are not assigned in a given term, because there's not much redundancy in the book. The projects many times describe software and techniques but aren't documented elsewhere. I don't assign all the projects in the workbook every term, just a collection of them, generally 3 or 4, and you can do one of the unassigned projects as optional extra credit. That's the way the first 3 units work. The 4th unit is simply projects that take a little more time, and there is no exercise and there is no other homework except the projects in that 4th unit. first 3 units, in addition to having the written homework and the projects, there's a repeatable online exercise. It's labeled a quiz by the system, but that's kind of a mistake on the system's part. These are repeatable. In fact, everything in this course is repeatable. The online exercises are repeatable because you can do them any number of times throughout the entire term. They're not limited to the unit. The written homework and the projects are repeatable because you turn them into me, hopefully as soon as you finish one. You turn it into me and I give you feedback and tell you what's wrong with it, if anything, and how you can improve it, and then you get a chance to revise it and resubmit it. The reason for that is I teach this course in a mentoring sort of a way. I'm going to help you do well. You take your best shot at it, and I will tell you if there are deficiencies, and I'll give you some hints on how to fix it, and then you can do it again. And of course your score may rise in doing that, which is probably what you're most interested in. What I'm interested in is the additional learning that occurs by you figuring out, with my help, what's wrong with it and fixing it. I think that's a better way to learn, and I'm wholeheartedly against this idea of having every assignment be a one-shot, you get your grade and you live with it sort of a thing. That makes every assignment into an assessment, and I don't think there should be that much assessment going on, except at the end of the term when we fully assess how much have you learned. That full assessment, however, is done with reflective work and not using an exam. So there is no midterm, as a matter of fact, in this course either, because the feedback that I give you is much more comprehensive than you would get from just one midterm exam. So I like to relieve the stress on you in that way. I know you have midterms in other courses, but you don't have to worry about one in this course. The best advice I can give you for doing well in the course is simply to dig in. If you look at the course website, you'll see there's a hyperlink for books. That leads you to links where you can buy the book, or you can buy the book in the college bookstore, or you can get it online if you want an electronic format of it. Everyone, however, can download free the first chapter of the workbook, and that covers the first 2 or 3 weeks of the course. So even if you haven't got the full workbook in one form or another, you can download rather quickly the first chapter of the workbook and dig in. And that's the best advice I can give you for doing well in this course. You simply must move ahead with the material. Now, if you have questions, I'm available 12 hours a day, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., at the phone number that you see at the bottom of the screen. All the office hours in this course are done with the telephone, either voice or text, or with email, or if you want face-to-face contact with Skype or Hangout or FaceTime. It's a fully electronic course. It's not intended that you have to meet any place physically to do any aspect of it. And all of the material you turn in is electronic in form. So with that having been said, let me let you get started. I'm here to help you if you need help, and get set this week for the first of my weekly lectures, which add to the lectures that are already available to you on YouTube and are pointed to by hyperlinks on the D2L website. Bye-bye and good luck. Welcome to class.